How to make someone who doesn't value you obsessed. All right, let's be real for a second. You clicked on this video for a reason. There's someone in your life, someone you care about, maybe even obsess over, but they don't see your worth. They take you for granted. They ignore your texts, make excuses, and leave you wondering, why am I not enough for them? And I get it. That feeling sucks. It eats at you. It makes you question yourself, your looks, your personality, your entire existence. But listen to me carefully. This isn't about you not being enough. This is about them not valuing what's right in front of them. But here's the real kicker. You can flip the script. You can make them the one who can't stop thinking about you. You can make them crave your attention. And no, I'm not talking about playing silly mind games or pretending to be someone you're not. I'm talking about understanding psychology, power dynamics, and human nature to shift the way they see you, forever. By the end of this, they won't just notice you. They'll feel your absence in their bones. They'll find themselves scrolling through old conversations, checking your social media, and wondering, why am I suddenly thinking about them so much? But before we get into all that, let's talk about why we chase people who don't value us. Because once you understand that, you'll never be in this position again. Let's go. 1. Understanding the power dynamic. Let's get one thing straight. People don't devalue you because you're not good enough. They devalue you because you're too available. Sounds harsh? Maybe. But it's the truth. And once you understand this, everything changes. Why people devalue. You imagine this. You walk into a luxury store, and there's a designer bag on display, one of a kind, limited edition, only 3 left in the world. The price tag? Insanely high. You don't even question it because, in your mind, it must be valuable if it's this rare. Now imagine that same bag dumped in a clearance bin marked 90% off. Same quality, same brand. But suddenly, it doesn't feel as special anymore. That's how human psychology works. When something is scarce, we assume it's valuable. When something is always available, we take it for granted. Now, think about your situation. Have you been overtexting them? Always making yourself available, waiting around for their attention, accepting bare minimum effort? If the answer is yes to any of these, then you've become that clearance bin item in their mind. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you're actually worth less. You are the luxury item. They just don't see it because you've given them unlimited access without making them earn it. So what do? We shift the power dynamic. The obsession blueprint. How reverse psychology works. Here's the crazy part. People only value what they feel they might lose. That's why so many people regret losing someone after they're gone. The second they sense they no longer have control over your attention, their brain kicks into panic mode. Ever notice how someone suddenly starts caring when you stop caring? You stop texting, they start reaching out. You stop giving them all your time. They suddenly notice your absence. You start talking to someone else. They feel a weird jealousy they didn't expect. This isn't random. This is psychological reprogramming. When you stop making them your priority, their brain automatically starts questioning, wait, did I misjudge them? Did I underestimate their value? This leads us to the mirror effect, reflecting their energy. Here's a golden rule. Stop giving more than you're receiving. Most people try to prove their worth by overgiving. More effort, more attention, more affection. But the truth, you should be doing the exact opposite. Instead of chasing, mirror them. If they take hours to text back, you take hours to text back. If they cancel plans last minute, you stop making plans. If they seem uninterested, you pull away. Why? Because people are wired to crave equilibrium. The moment they feel like you're the one slipping away, they start moving toward you. And this isn't about being petty. It's about matching their energy so you don't keep investing in someone who doesn't reciprocate. Because let's be real, they already know you care. They just don't think they need to care back. Now, let's make them care. I2, the art of strategic absence. Now that you understand how power dynamics work, it's time to apply the most effective move in human psychology: pulling away. And no, this isn't about ghosting or playing mind games. It's about resetting the way they see you. Pulling away the right way. Most people do this wrong. They pull away with anger. They try to make the other person jealous. They post dramatic quotes on social media. Big mistake. That just makes you look reactive. Powerful people don't react. They reposition. Here's how you do it the right way. Reduce your availability. Start saying no more. Stop initiating. If they want to talk to you, they'll find a way. Be busy. Actually be busy. Go out. Focus on your goals. Live your life. Level up. Change your routine. Improve yourself. Do something unexpected. You don't need to announce you're pulling away. You just do it. And then, silence. Silence is powerful because it forces them to feel your absence. When you're always there, they don't think about you. But the second you go quiet, they start wondering, why aren't they texting me? Are they losing interest? Did I misjudge how much they care? And that's exactly where you want them. The scarcity principle in action. Let me ask you this. When do people appreciate water the most? Not when it's overflowing. Not when it's always available. But when they're thirsty. When you constantly give someone attention, they don't think about it. But the second that attention disappears, they start craving it. That's why the scarcity principle is so powerful. Look at celebrities. The ones who are too available fade into the background. But the ones who maintain mystery, who show up when they want and disappear when they choose, they stay on people's minds. Now, you need to become that person. Signs. They are noticing your absence. So how do you know when this is working? Simple. Watch for these signs. They start liking your old posts or watching your stories first. They text you randomly without a reason. They bring up things about you they never cared about before. They try to accidentally bump into you or ask mutual friends about you. They get weirdly defensive or emotional when they see you doing fine without them. When this happens, congratulations. You flip the power dynamic. At this point, you're no longer the one chasing. They are now the one thinking, why am I suddenly so interested in them? And once you've gotten to this stage, that's when the real fun begins. 3. The secret to unshakable confidence. Here's the thing that most people don't understand. Confidence is the ultimate magnet. But not just any kind of confidence. The kind that doesn't need validation from others. The kind that radiates effortlessly and makes people want to be around you, chase you, and crave your attention. You've probably heard the saying, confidence is sexy. And, yeah, it sounds cliché, but it's true. And I'm not talking about the fake it till you make it confidence. I'm talking about that deep-rooted, unshakable confidence that comes from within. When you have this kind of confidence, not only do people value you more, but they start obsessing over what they might lose if they don't give you the attention you deserve. But here's the most important part. Confidence is not about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're superior or better than others. It's about knowing your worth without needing anyone else to validate it. Building an aura of mystery. There's something magnetic about someone who isn't easily understood. Have you ever met someone who had that something about them? They weren't loud or attention-seeking, but you just couldn't help but be drawn to them. It wasn't because they were always available, or that they talked about themselves non-stop. It was their mystery. You don't need to share everything with everyone. In fact, keeping certain parts of your life private creates a sense of allure. When people feel like they can't fully figure you out, they start obsessing over the mystery of who you really are. How do you build this aura? Stop oversharing. Be less predictable. Leave people wanting more by not giving them all the answers. Let your actions speak louder than your words. When you do this, you become like a book with a few chapters missing. They'll want to read more, and they'll keep coming back for the next page. Mastering the art of nonchalance. Here's where most people go wrong. They put on an act. They try too hard to look confident or cool, and it ends up coming off as forced. True confidence. It's effortless. It's that calm, collected demeanor that says, "I'm good with or without you." It's not arrogance. It's knowing that your life is valuable regardless of what anyone else thinks. People get obsessed with that because it's rare, it's attractive. So how do you master this? Don't overreact to situations. When something happens, especially if it's negative, respond with calmness. Stop seeking approval. If you're waiting for their validation through likes, comments, or texts, that's a red flag. Instead, focus on how you feel about your life, not how others feel about you. Be selective about your energy. When you're around people who drain you or don't value you, let them go. But when you're with people who respect you, give them your best energy. The more you embrace this calm, collected, and confident version of yourself, the more they'll wonder, how are they so confident? What's their secret? And that curiosity will start to turn into obsession. Embodying the high-status mentality. We all want to be around high-status individuals. We admire them. We crave their attention. And guess what? You can embody that high-status mentality too. It's not about money or fame. It's about carrying yourself with a sense of purpose and believing that you are the prize. When you have high status, people naturally gravitate toward you. They want to impress you. They want to earn your time, your attention, your approval. But here's the kicker. You don't chase. They chase you. So how do you start acting like you're the prize? Know your worth. You're not desperate. You're not begging for attention. You have value. Set boundaries. High-status people don't tolerate disrespect, so don't let anyone cross your line. Be purposeful. High-status individuals are always focused on their goals, so make sure you're working towards something. Whether it's personal growth, career, or passions, keep improving. And once you embody this mindset, people will start to see you as a high-status individual. And when they see you as high value, they'll obsess over earning your attention. 4. Triggering emotional attachment. Okay, now that you've got the confidence and the mystery down, it's time to turn things up a notch. This is where it gets interesting. If you really want someone to become obsessed, you need to create emotional attachment. Why? Because emotions are what make people crave connection. And once someone is emotionally attached, they can't let go. How to subconsciously make them think about you? Let's be honest. People are obsessed with what they don't fully understand. It's the curiosity factor. It's that unfinished business feeling that keeps them thinking, what if there's more to them than I realize? And you can trigger this by leaving them with questions. Not questions you need to answer, questions they ask themselves. Here's how. Leave things unfinished. In conversations, leave certain topics unresolved. Don't give them the full story. Let them wonder what you didn't say. Create emotional peaks and valleys. Don't be predictable with your emotions. Give them a moment of intensity, then pull back. Keep them guessing about your mood and intentions. Leave them wanting more. Every time you spend time with them, make it memorable, but don't overstay your welcome. Leave them wanting to see you again. By creating this emotional tension, you leave them thinking about you when you're not around. And guess what? That's the beginning of obsession. Using nostalgia and emotional anchoring. Want to make someone think about you, even when you're not in their face? Anchor an emotion to your presence. This is where you make specific moments with them emotionally unforgettable. How do you do this? Create powerful moments together. Whether it's laughing, sharing something personal, or having an unforgettable experience, make sure your time together feels significant. Nostalgia is a powerful tool. People are more likely to miss you if you associate certain feelings or experiences with your presence. Every time you leave, make them feel like a part of them is missing. Make them feel understood. People get emotionally attached to those who make them feel seen, heard, and understood. If you're able to connect with them on a deeper level, whether it's empathy or shared experience, you'll have their heart in no time. The goal? Every time they think of you, they'll relive that emotional high you gave them. And the more they relive it, the more they'll need it. The power of limited access. One of the best ways to make someone obsess over you? Give them limited access to your time and energy. Now, I'm not talking about playing games. I'm talking about deliberately setting boundaries and not letting them consume all your attention. Here's why. When people feel like they can always reach you, they take it for granted. But when you make yourself a little hard to get, you become more valuable in their eyes. And when they can't get enough of you, that's when the obsession kicks in. Say no sometimes. Not every invitation, not every message, not every request. Be busy. Let them know you have a full life. Don't be available 24/7. Stop dropping everything to talk to them. When they realize that they can't just get you whenever they want, they'll start craving the moments when you do show up. And trust me, they'll start obsessing over when you'll appear next. 5. The subtle art of making them chase you. All right, so by now you've created space. You've built mystery. You've developed an unshakable confidence that radiates. You've emotionally anchored them, and now they're wondering, what's going on with them? Why are they acting so differently? Why do I miss them so much? But here's where it gets interesting. It's time to make them chase you. Now, before you think I'm suggesting playing hard to get or turning this into a high school game, let's set the record straight. This isn't about playing childish mind tricks. It's about turning the tables so that they feel the need to earn your attention. Because here's the truth. Everyone loves a challenge. The reverse pursuit effect. What happens when someone feels like they're chasing something they can't easily get? Their desire increases. They begin thinking about you more. They start fantasizing about winning you over. It's Psychology 101. The more you withdraw your attention, not out of spite, but out of self-respect and a better sense of boundaries, the more they want to pull you back in. Think about this. Have you ever been interested in someone, but they were just a little out of reach? Maybe they seemed to be too busy, too independent, or just not as eager to please. What did you do? You probably started pursuing them more, right? You wanted to earn their time, their attention. And the more you chased, the more intense that desire grew. That's exactly what happens when you pull away and stop being so readily available. You don't have to do anything dramatic. Just create space for them to fill. Stop initiating contact. Let them reach out. Give them the space to think about you, miss you, and wonder what you're up to. Be less available. If they want to see you, they'll have to make the effort. Don't give away all of yourself too soon. Let them ask the questions. Let them try to figure you out. The less you reveal, the more they'll want to uncover. The more they feel like they're the one making the effort, the more they'll crave your attention. And that's when you have them hooked. How to reinforce their interest without chasing. Let's clear something up. This isn't about playing games. It's about balance. You don't want to completely ghost them, but you also don't want to throw yourself at them at every opportunity. You want to strike that delicate balance where they can feel you pulling away, but still leave them intrigued enough to come closer. So how do you reinforce their interest without chasing them down? The 3-1 rule of attention. For every 3 moments of genuine interest you show them, a text, a compliment, a call, take a step back. Don't overdo it. Leave them wanting more. Use social proof. This works like magic. When they see you out with other people, or when you're getting attention from others, without rubbing it in their face, it triggers something in them. Wait, why is everyone else interested in them? What do I not know? It creates a sense of competition, and suddenly, you're more valuable in their eyes. Be scarce, but not cold. There's a big difference between being distant and being outright aloof. You don't want them thinking you're indifferent. You want them to wonder what you're doing, but also know that you're still interested when the time is right. By reinforcing their interest without chasing them, you create the perfect dynamic. You become the person they can't stop thinking about. You become the one they need to keep pursuing while you're calm, collected, and living your life. Signs they are becoming obsessed. So, how do you know this is working? The signs are subtle at first, but once you see them, you'll know you've got them hooked. Here's what to look for. They start texting you more. Out of nowhere, they start reaching out more often. Sometimes it's small talk. Other times, it's just to check in. They start showing more interest in your life. They ask about your day, your plans, your goals, things they never asked before. They start mirroring your behavior. Have you noticed them adopting some of your habits, phrases, or interests? People subconsciously start mimicking the behaviors of people they're attracted to. They get defensive or possessive. This is a tricky one. If they start getting protective, asking about your social life or other people, they're feeling threatened. That means they're getting emotionally invested. They make plans for the future. They start talking about we or suggesting future plans. This is a huge sign they're seeing a future with you in it. When these signs start popping up, that's when you know they're shifting from interested to obsessed. And at this point, you're no longer chasing them. You've flipped the tables, and they're now chasing you. 6. The grand finale. Turning obsession into genuine value. You've played the game. You've pulled back. You've triggered their curiosity, and now they're obsessed with you. But here's the most important question. Do you actually want them to become obsessed with you for the right reasons? Because let's be clear, obsession without respect is dangerous. Obsession born out of insecurity, manipulation, or a desire to possess can be toxic. The goal isn't to trap someone or turn them into a puppet. It's to make them genuinely appreciate your value. And the truth is, you deserve to be appreciated for who you are, not for how much someone wants to control you. Making sure they value you for the right reasons. So now that they're obsessed, what do you do with all of this? You make sure that obsession transforms into genuine value and respect. Set clear boundaries. Now that you've got their attention, make sure they know exactly what is and isn't acceptable. If they've been disrespecting you in any way, now's the time to assert your value. Make them earn your time and attention. The person who values you most will be the one who invests time and effort into making you feel good, not just making you feel needed. Be upfront about your needs and desires. Don't be afraid to let them know what you need from the relationship, whether it's more effort, more respect, or more communication. When they're obsessed, they'll be willing to meet you halfway. The ultimate power move. Choosing whether you still want them. Here's the part that really matters. Once you've built your worth and gotten someone obsessed, you have the ultimate power move. Choosing whether or not you actually want them. This is the real kicker. You've done the work, You've triggered their emotions, and now you're in control. And here's the thing. You don't need to settle for someone who only wants you for the chase. True power is knowing when to walk away, because when you've reached the point where someone is emotionally invested in you, you're no longer desperate for their validation. You're free to choose who you want to be with based on whether they value you, not just because you're a prize to be won. Don't settle. If they're still not giving you the respect you deserve, walk away. You're the prize. Stay true to yourself. Remember, you don't need anyone to complete you. You're already whole. A personal reflection. Why the real win is self-worth. At the end of the day, the true win is not in making someone obsessed with you. It's in recognizing your own worth, independent of anyone else's opinion. When you stop needing validation from others, you free yourself to attract the kind of people who will genuinely value you for who you are. Once you get to this point, you become the chooser, not the chased. And that's the most powerful position you could ever be in. Conclusion. The ultimate power shift. Own your worth. All right, let's bring it all home. We've gone through the process of making someone who doesn't value you see your worth. We've talked about psychological tactics, building confidence, creating emotional attachment, and, most importantly, taking control of the situation. But now, it's time for you to internalize the most important lesson of all. The real power lies in your ability to know and embrace your own worth. You've learned how to create space, build mystery, and make someone obsess over you. But in the end, that obsession means nothing if it isn't based on genuine respect and mutual value. And the truth is, no matter how much someone may chase or desire you, it will only be meaningful if you value yourself first. Here's the bottom line. You are worthy of being treated with respect, admiration, and care. Not just because of the effort you put into making someone chase you, but because of who you are at your core. You are the prize, not just in the eyes of others, but in your own eyes. And once you recognize that, everything shifts. Why this is about more than just making them obsessed. What we've talked about isn't some manipulative game. It's about changing the way you see yourself and how others perceive you. It's about shifting the balance of power in your relationships, making sure you're always in control of how much you give and how much you receive. Because let's face it, you deserve to be the one people chase for the right reasons. But the real victory here? It's in the transformation of your own self-worth. It's about realizing that you don't need to make anyone obsessed with you just to feel good about yourself. You can attract the right people into your life, people who will value you for who you are, not just for what you can give them. Your takeaway: be the magnet, not the chaser. As we wrap up this conversation, remember that the goal isn't to play games or manipulate someone into desiring you. The goal is to unlock your true power. To become someone who radiates self-confidence, who knows their worth, and who understands that the only people worthy of your time and attention are those who will meet you at your level. So, here's your final takeaway. Be the person who never has to chase, but attracts. Set boundaries that protect your energy. Live your life with intention and purpose, because when you're focused on your own growth, others can't help but notice. And when someone starts to chase you, let them. But don't lose sight of the most important thing. You're not just a prize to be won. You're the person who decides who gets to be a part of your life. Your future, filled with respect, love, and true connection. At the end of the day, the most powerful thing you can do is to embrace your own worth. When you do, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. The right people will invest in you, appreciate you, and want to be around you. Not because they're obsessed in a toxic way, but because they respect you and admire the person you've become. You've learned how to shift the power dynamic. You've learned how to make someone value you. But the ultimate victory comes when you no longer need anyone's validation to know that you're already enough. So, go ahead. Walk into the room like you're the prize. Own your worth like it's a part of you. And let the people who truly appreciate it find their way to you. Because in the end, you are enough. Always have been, always will be,